The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor of the penthouse, its fragments scattering like the pieces of Gracie's carefully constructed life. "I can't do this anymore," Jamie whispered, her voice breaking as she clutched the edge of the kitchen island, tears streaming down her face. In that instant, 10 years of secrets, lies and stolen moments crashed into the open, just as Gracie's phone buzzed with the news that would change everything. Her mother had died. Gracie Harrington had always been the golden child of the Harrington dynasty, a family whose wealth traced back to the industrial barons of early 20th century America. Growing up in a sprawling estate in the Hamptons, she learned early on that love was conditional, tethered to expectations and legacies. Her mother, Eleanor Harrington, was a formidable woman, CEO of Harrington Enterprises, a conglomerate spanning real estate and finance, who ruled with an iron fist wrapped in velvet gloves. "Family first, Graciandra," Eleanor would say, her eyes sharp as diamonds. "And family means preserving what we've built." That meant marrying well, producing heirs, and above all, upholding the image of old money perfection. It was during her sophomore year at Yale that Gracie met Jamie Thompson. Jamie was everything Gracie wasn't. A scholarship kid from a working-class family in Chicago, with a laugh that could light up a lecture hall and a passion for environmental law that burned brighter than any trust fund. They collided in a debate club meeting, arguing over corporate responsibility versus personal freedom. By the end of the semester, late-night study sessions had turned into whispered confessions under the stars on the quad. "You're like a breath of fresh air in this stuffy world," Gracie had told Jamie one night, their hands brushing tentatively. Their first kiss happened in the rain, after a campus protest against fossil fuels. Jamie pulled Gracie into an alcove, her wet hair clinging to her face, and pressed her lips to Gracie's with an urgency that felt like destiny. From that moment, Gracie was hooked. But back home, Eleanor's voice echoed in her mind. "We don't tolerate deviations, Graciandra. Our name is our bond." The Harrington will was clear. Gracie's inheritance, worth hundreds of millions, hinged on her living a respectable life, as defined by her mother's conservative ideals. No scandals, no alternative lifestyles. So Gracie made a choice. She would hide Jamie, compartmentalize her love like a forbidden treasure. For the first decade it worked. Gracie graduated, joined the family business in Manhattan, and rose through the ranks as Eleanor's right hand. Jamie, meanwhile, built her career as an attorney for a nonprofit fighting climate change, their lives intersecting in secret weekends at a cozy cabin in the Adirondacks or stolen lunches in Central Park. "I love you enough to wait," Jamie would say, her fingers tracing patterns on Gracie's back as they lay in bed, the city lights filtering through the curtains of Gracie's Upper East Side apartment. But the secrecy gnawed at them. Gracie attended family galas with eligible bachelors on her arm, smiling through gritted teeth while Jamie waited in the shadows. Tension simmered beneath the surface. One Christmas Eve, as snow blanketed the Hamptons estate, Eleanor cornered Gracie in the library. "I've heard rumors, darling, about your friendships. Remember, the trust is revocable." Gracie's heart pounded, but she denied everything, her voice steady from years of practice. Later that night, she drove through the storm to Jamie's tiny Brooklyn walk-up, collapsing into her arms. "I can't lose you," Gracie sobbed. "But I can't lose everything either." Jamie held her, whispering assurances, but doubt crept in like the cold draft from the window. As years passed, their love deepened amid the drama of hidden lives. Jamie proposed once on a hike in the Rockies during a rare vacation, a simple ring glinting in the sunlight. Gracie said yes, but the ring stayed in a drawer, a symbol of what could be. Work pulled them in different directions. Gracie negotiating billion-dollar deals, Jamie winning landmark cases against polluters. Yet, every reunion was electric, filled with laughter, tears, and promises. "One day we'll have it all," Gracie vowed. But cracks formed. Jamie's friends started families, and she longed for normalcy. "How much longer, Gracie?" she'd ask after another canceled dinner due to a family obligation. Gracie would placate her with trips to Napa Valley wineries or quiet evenings watching the Hudson River from a ferry. Still, the inheritance loomed like a shadow, Eleanor's health declining with age. Gracie rationalized. Once she secured the fortune, they could come out, build a life free from fear. Little did Gracie know fate had other plans. Eleanor's cancer diagnosis came suddenly, an aggressive form that doctors gave months, not years. Gracie threw herself into caregiving, shuttling between boardrooms and hospital rooms, all while Jamie supported from afar. "I'm here for you," Jamie texted one night as Gracie sat by Eleanor's bedside. But the strain showed. Arguments flared over the phone, Jamie feeling like a ghost in Gracie's life. In the midst of this, a betrayal brewed. Gracie's cousin, Marcus, always jealous of her position, began digging into her secrets. Hired investigators tailed her, capturing photos of intimate moments with Jamie. Marcus saw an opportunity. Expose Gracie, challenge the will, claim a larger share. He confronted Gracie in a sleek Manhattan office, smirking as he slid the envelope across the desk. "Aunt Eleanor would be disappointed," he sneered. Gracie's world tilted, but she bought his silence with a promise of shares. Another layer of deception. As Eleanor's condition worsened, Gracie's emotions churned. Guilt, love, fear intertwined. One evening in the hospital, Eleanor grasped Gracie's hand. "Promise me you'll carry on the legacy," she rasped. Gracie nodded, tears welling, but inside, she screamed for freedom. That night, she met Jamie in a dimly lit bar in Greenwich Village, their hands clasped under the table. "When this is over, we tell the world," Gracie said. Jamie's eyes searched hers, hopeful yet wary. The end of the first decade approached with Eleanor's final days. Gracie balanced on a knife's edge, her hidden love a lifeline amid the storm. But the truth, like a gathering thundercloud, was about to break. Eleanor's funeral was a spectacle of New York's elite, held at St. Patrick's Cathedral with black limousines lining Fifth Avenue. Gracie stood stoic in a tailored black suit, accepting condolences from senators and CEOs, her face a mask of composed grief. Inside, turmoil raged. Jamie attended incognito, slipping in among the crowd, her presence a silent anchor. Their eyes met briefly across the pews, a flicker of shared pain amid the sea of strangers. In the weeks following, the reading of the will unfolded in a wood-paneled law office overlooking Central Park. Gracie sat rigidly as the attorney droned on, bequeathing the bulk of the estate to her, provided she adhered to the moral clauses Eleanor had embedded like landmines. Marcus smirked from across the table, his eyes glinting with unspoken threats. Gracie signed the documents, her hand steady, but her mind raced. Freedom was within reach, or so she thought. That night, Gracie drove to Jamie's apartment, the city lights blurring through tears. "It's done," she said, pulling Jamie into a fierce embrace. "We can be us now." They celebrated with takeout from their favorite Thai place, sprawled on the living room floor, dreaming of a future. A wedding in the Berkshires, a home in Brooklyn with a garden, adopting kids. For the first time in years, hope bloomed unchecked. But drama lurked in the shadows. Marcus, unsatisfied with his cut, leaked the photos to a tabloid. The headline screamed across page 6. Harrington heiress's secret lesbian affair exposed. Gracie's phone exploded with notifications as she woke to the scandal. Board members called, demanding explanations. Family friends whispered. Worst of all, Jamie's nonprofit faced backlash from conservative donors, her career hanging by a thread. Gracie confronted Marcus at the family estate, the ocean crashing angrily below the cliffs. "You bastard," she hissed, slamming the door behind her. This was about more than money. Marcus laughed, pouring scotch. "It's always about money, cousin." Aunt Eleanor would have wanted the truth out. Gracie stormed out, her world crumbling. The emotional fallout was brutal. Gracie threw herself into work, but board meetings turned hostile. Whispers of instability circulated, threats to oust her as CEO. At home, she paced the penthouse, replaying memories. Their first trip to San Francisco, walking hand in hand in the Castro, feeling free for a weekend. Lazy Sundays in bed with coffee and the Times, Jamie's gentle touch after a hard day. Jamie, meanwhile, sought solace in Chicago with her family. Her mother, a no-nonsense nurse, hugged her tight. "Love shouldn't be a secret, honey." Jamie nodded, but her heart ached for Gracie. Phone calls were tense, laced with hurt. "I need time," Jamie said. Gracie agreed, but the silence stretched like an abyss. A turning point came during a business trip to Los Angeles. Gracie attended a gala for LGBTQ rights, invited anonymously. There she met activists whose stories mirrored her own. Hidden lives, painful outings. One woman, a tech mogul, shared, "Coming out cost me everything, but it gave me myself." Inspired, Gracie called Jamie from her hotel balcony. The Pacific shimmering below. "I was wrong to hide us. Forgive me." Jamie returned to New York, and they reconciled in a tearful reunion at JFK Airport. "We're in this together," Jamie said, their foreheads touching. But the drama escalated when a lawsuit hit. Marcus challenged the will, citing Gracie's deception as grounds for disqualification. Court dates loomed, turning their lives into a media circus. Paparazzi hounded them, forcing Gracie and Jamie to go public unwillingly. Amid the chaos, romance flickered. They escaped to a cabin in Vermont, snow falling softly as they rebuilt trust. Long walks in the woods, fireside talks about dreams deferred. "I love you more than any inheritance," Gracie confessed one night, stars overhead. Jamie smiled, pulling her close. "Prove it in court." The trial was a battlefield of emotions. Witnesses testified to Eleanor's rigid views. Gracie's lawyers argued for modernity. Jamie sat in the gallery, her presence a beacon. On the stand, Gracie bared her soul. "I hid my love out of fear, but it's the truest part of me." The judge, a progressive from Brooklyn, seemed swayed. But betrayal struck again. A former employee, bribed by Marcus, revealed doctored emails suggesting Gracie had manipulated Eleanor's will. The courtroom gasped, Gracie's face paled. "It's a lie," she protested. Investigations ensued, delaying the verdict. Jamie stood by her, but doubt resurfaced. "Is there more you're hiding?" Jamie asked in their hotel room after a grueling day. Gracie broke down, revealing the full extent. The payoffs, the years of double life. "I thought I was protecting us." Jamie's eyes filled with pain, but she stayed. "We faced this as one." Their bond, tested by fire, grew stronger. Romantic dinners in hidden bistros, supportive notes during hearings. As winter thawed into spring, the truth emerged. The emails were forged. Marcus was exposed, disgraced. The judge ruled in Gracie's favor, but with a twist. The inheritance was hers, but she donated half to LGBTQ causes, honoring her authentic self. "This is for us," Gracie told Jamie, as they left the courthouse hand in hand, cameras flashing. Yet scars remained. The public scrutiny weighed heavy, but in quiet moments their love shone. A weekend in the Hamptons, walking the beach where Gracie once felt trapped, now felt liberating. "We've come so far," Jamie murmured, waves lapping at their feet. Gracie nodded, the future brightening. With the inheritance secured, Gracie and Jamie embarked on a new chapter, but the echoes of betrayal lingered like ghosts in the corridors of their lives. Gracie stepped down from CEO to focus on philanthropy, channeling funds into environmental and LGBTQ initiatives, a nod to Jamie's passions and her own redemption. They moved into a brownstone in Brooklyn Heights, a far cry from the sterile penthouse, filling it with art, books, and the warmth of open love. Romance bloomed anew. Picnics in Prospect Park where they held hands without fear. Dinners with Jamie's family, who welcomed Gracie like a daughter. "Your family now," Jamie's mom said over Sunday brunch, passing biscuits. Gracie teared up, unused to such unconditional acceptance. Their engagement became official, the ring finally on Jamie's finger during a sunset proposal on the Brooklyn Bridge. "Marry me for real this time," Gracie said, tourists cheering around them. But drama resurfaced when an old flame from Jamie's past appeared. Sarah, a fellow activist from law school, contacted Jamie for a collaboration on a major climate lawsuit. Sarah was charismatic, openly queer, and harbored unresolved feelings. At first it was professional meetings in coffee shops, strategy sessions late into the night. Gracie noticed Jamie's distracted smiles, the extra hours. "It's just work," Jamie assured, but insecurity gnawed at Gracie. One evening after a fundraiser in Manhattan, Gracie overheard a phone call. Sarah laughing, saying, "Remember that night in D.C.? We were unstoppable." Jealousy flared. "Who's Sarah?" Gracie demanded when Jamie hung up. The argument escalated, old wounds reopening. "You hid me for years and now you distrust me?" Jamie shot back. Gracie stormed out, wandering the rainy streets, questioning everything. The conflict deepened. Sarah confessed her feelings during a trip to Washington for the case, cornering Jamie in a hotel bar. "We could have been great," Sarah said. Jamie rebuffed her, loyal to Gracie, but the incident shook her. She confided in a friend, who advised transparency. Returning home, Jamie told Gracie everything. "I chose you then, I choose you now." But Gracie, scarred by Marcus's treachery, pulled away emotionally. High drama unfolded at a gala for Jamie's nonprofit. Sarah attended, tensions simmering. A heated exchange in the ladies' room. Sarah accusing Gracie of holding Jamie back. "She deserves someone who doesn't hide." Gracie, overhearing, confronted them, voices echoing off marble walls. "Stay away from her." The scene spilled into the ballroom, whispers rippling through the crowd. Jamie defended Gracie, but the night ended in tears. Back home, they dissected the betrayal, Sarah's manipulation, Gracie's paranoia. "We need to heal," Jamie said, suggesting therapy. Sessions in a cozy office in the village revealed layers. Gracie's fear of abandonment rooted in Eleanor's control, Jamie's resentment from years in the shadows. Through tears and breakthroughs, their love rekindled, more resilient. A romantic getaway to Cape Cod mended fences. Whale watching on choppy seas, clam bakes on the beach. "I'm sorry for doubting," Gracie whispered under the stars. Jamie forgave, their kisses salty from ocean spray. Back in New York, they planned the wedding. An intimate affair in Central Park's conservatory garden, with cherry blossoms in bloom. But another storm brewed. Marcus, bankrupt from legal fees, sought revenge. He anonymously tipped off a conservative group, sparking protests outside Harrington Enterprises. Signs read, "No place for sin in business." Gracie's new ventures suffered, donors pulling out. Jamie's case hit roadblocks, opponents using the scandal. The couple faced it head-on. A press conference in Times Square, Gracie speaking. "My love for Jamie is my strength, not a weakness." Jamie stood beside her, hand in hand. The response was mixed. Hate mail poured in, but support swelled from allies. Celebrities tweeted solidarity. Donations surged. Emotionally, it drained them. Late nights, Jamie comforting Gracie through panic attacks. "We're stronger together," Jamie reminded. Their intimacy deepened, not physical excess, but soul-bearing conversations, shared dreams. A pivotal moment came during a hike in the Catskills. Lost in fog, they argued again about trust. "I feel like I'm always proving myself," Jamie said. Gracie stopped, realizing her patterns. "No more hiding from you or myself." They emerged from the mist, metaphorically and literally, closer. As the wedding approached, a final betrayal. Sarah leaked case details to sabotage Jamie, jealous of their happiness. Jamie discovered it, heartbroken. She was a friend. Gracie supported her through the fallout, the case salvaged by quick thinking. In the aftermath, they reflected on humanity's flaws, betrayal born of pain, love as redemption. "We've survived worse," Gracie said. Jamie nodded, their bond unbreakable. The wedding day dawned sunny, vows exchanged amid friends and family. "In sickness and health, in secrets and truth," Gracie promised. Cheers erupted, a new beginning. Yet life tested them further. Post-honeymoon, Jamie's health scare, a benign tumor, brought vulnerability. Gracie nursed her, roles reversed. "I can't lose you," Gracie whispered in the hospital. Jamie recovered, their love fortified. Through it all, the narrative wove drama with tenderness, highlighting human resilience. Gracie and Jamie became advocates, speaking at events, inspiring others. Their story, once hidden, now a beacon. Married life brought a rhythm of joy amid lingering shadows. Gracie and Jamie traveled to Hawaii for their honeymoon, hiking volcanoes and snorkeling in crystal waters, their laughter echoing over the Pacific. "This is what freedom feels like," Gracie said, toes in the sand. Back in Brooklyn, they nested, adopting a rescue dog named Luna, hosting barbecues for neighbors, building a community that embraced them. But the past resurfaced when Eleanor's unpublished memoirs were discovered in a safe deposit box. A lawyer delivered the manuscript, pages yellowed with age. Gracie read them alone in her study, heart pounding. Eleanor detailed her suspicions about Gracie's unnatural inclinations, expressing disappointment but also hidden regret. I wanted to protect her from a cruel world. One entry read. Tears fell as Gracie realized her mother's love was twisted by her own fears. Eleanor's own unrequited love for a woman in her youth, suppressed for the family name. Sharing it with Jamie, they pored over the words by candlelight. She was human too, Jamie said softly. The revelation humanized Eleanor, sparking Gracie's forgiveness. They decided to publish excerpts, donating proceeds to queer history projects. The book became a sensation, sparking national conversations about generational trauma. Drama intensified with external pressures. A documentary filmmaker approached, wanting to chronicle their story. Initially hesitant, they agreed, seeing it as catharsis. Filming dredged up painful memories, interviews with Marcus, who feigned remorse, recreations of hidden rendezvous. Tensions rose when the director pushed for sensationalism. This isn't a soap opera, Gracie snapped during a shoot in the Hamptons. Jamie mediated, reminding her of the greater good. Amid filming, a personal crisis hit. Jamie's sister, struggling with addiction, showed up unannounced, needing help. They took her in, navigating rehab and family therapy. Blood doesn't define family, Gracie told Jamie during a late-night talk, echoing Eleanor's lessons but redefining them. The experience bonded them, highlighting compassion. Romance persisted in small acts, surprise notes in lunch bags, dances in the kitchen to old jazz records. You're my anchor, Jamie murmured one evening, slow dancing as rain pattered the windows. But betrayal struck from an unexpected quarter. The filmmaker, seeking ratings, twisted footage to imply ongoing deceit. A leaked trailer portrayed Gracie as manipulative, Jamie as victim. Social media erupted, old scandals revived. How could you? Jamie asked the director in a heated call. They sued, but damage was done. Trust eroded, friendship strained. In the fallout, Gracie spiraled into doubt. Maybe I am the villain. Jamie pulled her back. We're heroes in our story. They retreated to the Adirondacks cabin, rebuilding amid nature's quiet. Hikes cleared minds. Fireside confessions mended hearts. I choose us every day, Gracie vowed. The documentary aired, edited fairly after legal pressure, receiving acclaim for its raw honesty. Reviews praised their resilience, calling it a testament to love's triumph over adversity. As fall arrived, another high. They started the adoption process, dreaming of parenthood. Home studies, interviews, daunting but exciting. Our kid will know love without conditions, Jamie said. Climax built when Marcus reappeared, destitute, begging forgiveness at their door. I was wrong, he admitted, tears streaming. Gracie hesitated, but Jamie encouraged mercy. They helped him into rehab, an act of humanity that closed old wounds. Emotionally charged, Gracie visited Eleanor's grave in the Hamptons cemetery, leaves crunching underfoot. I forgive you, Mom. And I hope you forgive me. Wind whispered through the trees, a sense of peace settling. Back home, Jamie awaited with dinner. How was it? Healing, Gracie replied, embracing her. Their life, once fractured, now whole, drama giving way to serenity. But fate twisted again. A car accident on the way to an adoption meeting, Jamie driving, a drunk driver swerving. Hospital lights glared as Gracie paced, praying. Jamie survived with fractures, but the scare shattered illusions of safety. I almost lost you, Gracie sobbed by her bedside. Recovery was slow, physical therapy testing patience. Gracie cared for her, roles intimate and tender. This is what forever means, Jamie said weakly. Their love, deepened by trial, emerged stronger. As Jamie healed, they welcomed a baby girl, Mia, into their home. First cries filled the brownstone, a new chapter. Friends gathered for a naming ceremony, toasts to resilience. Reflecting, Gracie wrote her own memoir, weaving threads of drama, emotion, romance. Love isn't easy, but it's worth every storm. Published to fanfare, it inspired countless others. In quiet moments, watching Mia sleep, they marveled at their journey. From hidden to here, Jamie whispered. Gracie smiled, heart full. The human spirit they knew bends but doesn't break. Years unfolded like pages in a well-loved book. Mia growing into a spirited toddler with Jamie's curls and Gracie's determination. Family life in Brooklyn was a tapestry of playdates, school runs, and weekend adventures in the city, Visits to the Met, picnics in Dumbo, ice skating at Rockefeller Center. "This is the American dream we built," Gracie would say, watching Mia chase pigeons in the park. But echoes of the past occasionally stirred drama. When Mia started kindergarten, a parent's bigoted remarks at a PTA meeting ignited old fears. "We don't want that influence," the woman sneered. Gracie and Jamie addressed it head-on, organizing a diversity workshop. "Love is love," Jamie told the group, her voice steady. The incident bonded the community, turning adversaries into allies. Romance endured, evolving with time. Anniversaries marked with trips, a cabin in Maine for lobster and stargazing, a drive along the Pacific Coast Highway. "You're still my greatest adventure," Gracie toasted on their 10th. Intimate evenings at home, sharing wine and stories, kept the spark alive. A major conflict arose when Harrington Enterprises faced a hostile takeover. Old board members, resentful of Gracie's philanthropy, allied with outsiders. Gracie was pulled back into the fray, consulting from afar. Late nights strained family time. Arguments flared. "Don't let it consume you again," Jamie warned. Gracie balanced delegating, prioritizing home. Betrayal came via a trusted advisor, embezzling funds. Discovered during an audit, it rocked Gracie's world. "How did I miss this?" she lamented. Jamie supported through the investigation, reminding her, "You're human." The culprit was prosecuted, losses recovered, but trust issues resurfaced. Through therapy they navigated, emerging wiser. "We've faced worse," Jamie said. Their love, a constant amid flux, provided anchor. Humanitarian efforts expanded. They founded a foundation aiding LGBTQ+ youth from conservative families, drawing from personal pain. Galas raised millions. Stories shared inspired change. One teen escaping a similar fate thanked them. "You showed me it's possible." Tears flowed, a cycle of healing. As Mia grew, questions about their past arose. "Why did Grandma not like Mommy?" she asked innocently. They explained gently, emphasizing love's victory. "Families come in all shapes," Gracie said. A poignant moment. Visiting Chicago for Jamie's family reunion. Barbecues, laughter. Contrast to Harrington's stiffness. Jamie's mom pulled Gracie aside. "You've made her so happy." Gracie nodded, grateful. Climax built with Gracie's health scare. A routine check revealing a lump. Biopsy waited agonizingly. Jamie held her through nights of fear. "We'll fight this." Benign. But the brush with mortality prompted reflection. "Life's too short for regrets," Gracie said. They renewed vows in a simple ceremony on the beach in the Hamptons, Mia scattering petals. Through storms and sun, they promised. Friends cheered, a testament to endurance. In later years they mentored others, their story a legend in circles. Documentaries, books. Legacy beyond wealth. Marcus reformed, reconnected sparingly, forgiveness granted. Emotionally, the narrative closed on a humanistic note. Sitting on their porch as Mia headed to college, they reflected. 10 years hidden but a lifetime free, Jamie said. Gracie squeezed her hand. Worth every tear. The ending was bittersweet yet hopeful. Not fairy tale perfect but real. Challenges came like Jamie's nonprofit facing funding cuts. But they adapted, advocating in D.C. Their love, deepened by drama, remained the core. In a final scene, walking hand in hand through Central Park, leaves golden in autumn light. "What a journey," Gracie murmured. Jamie smiled. "And it's not over." Their story, a blend of pain and joy, underscored humanity's capacity for growth, love's redemptive power shining through. Thus, from secrets to sunlight, Gracie and Jamie's tale embodied resilience, a beacon for those in shadows. In America's melting pot, their love proved universal, flawed, fierce, forever.